5G Advanced. He will bring us the latest industry developmental application of the 5G passive IoT. Let's welcome Mr. Adam.
Okay, thank you, and also thanks for the previous two speakers and give us very exciting speeches. And we learned quite a lot for this 5G or industry. And but right now we come to the next topic, which is about the detailed technical part. And my topic today I bring here is the passive IoT. And also this is Edward. It's an honor to be here to share with you some information on our latest progress. Okay, so now let's first take a look at the whole IoT market. And I want to say that right now the global IoT market is still growing quite fast. And we know that China is the largest IoT market around the world. And right now, in the year 2022, we already achieved the result whereby the connection for IoT devices surpasses the connection for people. It means that everybody in China has one or two smartphones, and it also has one or two IoT connections. And so when we look around the world, we can still find that this is also the data from the GSMA intelligence. And so the all technical IoT market, it grows with a curve of 11%. So it's still very high. But when we take a look at the cellular IoT, we find that normally the cellular IoT, whereby the operators can take, it takes about less than 20% of the whole IoT market. So that poses a question that if we can still do something just to improve the number of cellular IoT connections, because we still have quite a lot of Bluetooth we can try to step into. But how to improve the connections of IoT, especially the cellular IoT? Here we think that right now the 5G Advanced provides us some solutions. So 5G is right now an evolution of 5G, and we think that before 6G comes, we still have the 3GPP release 18, 19, and 20. And so it's just like a progress between 5G and 6G. And from our view, we think that 5G has two main advantages. First one is that the 10 times improvement for the traditional 5G capability, like the uplink and downlink speed and also latency. And another one is that actually 5G brings some brand new technologies, just like the passive IoT, just like the sensing, and this kind of topics are right now covered in the release 18, 19, and later. And so from the IoT overview, we think that the 5G do bring us two brand new technologies. First one is about the RedCap. And so RedCap is short for reduced capability, and it's focused on the middle speed IoT connections, like it can support 10 to 100 Mbps download speed. And so from this view, it can just provide more value to some higher up scenarios, just like the vehicle media and also some CCTV connections. And this is another part, but the most important part is that the passive IoT, and as I mentioned, passive IoT, due to its quite low cost, it can just enlarge the number of connections into billion level. Now let's go to the passive IoT part. And so passive IoT, its principle is quite simple, and everybody knows the RFID, which is a traditional IoT technology. And so when we utilize the ID card, when we utilize the access card, we normally refer or experience this IoT technologies as RFID. And it also utilized quite popular in the clothing shops. When we go to the Decathlon, we just put all the clothes we want into the basket, and then we can see that there's a total price shown on the screen. And so that is the RFID. And so when we come to the 5G passive IoT, we can think that the base station will now go to play the role as the scanner. And actually, the 5G passive IoT compared with the traditional RFID has some unique advantage. The first one is that it's actually based on the cellular networks, which means that it has a quite large and wide coverage. So one advantage is that it continuous networking. So with this kind of networking, we can do many things and also many information sharing in very large geography area. And the second one is that basically we can take advantage of the advanced air interface with 5G technologies. And so we can just increase the coverage range compared with traditional RFID. Okay, then if we have got some ideas about the passive IoT, then what is the current status, industry status for this passive IoT? And I have to say that from the standard point of view, the passive IoT is still right now the study item, and so it's not that fast. And right now the standard start to the study item in release 19, and maybe in 1 or 2 years goes to the W item. But we think that when we talk this idea, or when we talk this passive IoT to many operators, they are show very great interest. And I still remember that in last year's MWC, we have a passive IoT booth, and so many CTOs, they come to the booth and they stay there larger than 10 minutes, and we discuss quite a lot, and they have quite a imagination about how this technology can do. So I think that from our viewpoint, the market requirement is still very high, and so we think if we can do something to accelerate this definition of standard in 3GPP, that is benefit the whole industry progress. And also from ecosystem side, actually right now we have found 2 tech vendors in China, and so right now they provide with us some engineering samples, and also we have already done some tests. And so from their point of view, they think that actually the difference between the passive IoT tech and the traditional techs, the technology or the capability is quite similar. So they promise us that if the standard can be frozen, and they can just support the scale deployment. And as a site, many operators are very interested in this technology. And we in the last year, we already cooperated with many operators around the world and to do this kind of test. And they also provide with us quite a lot of suggestions, and also what they want to do this, to use this technology in which kind of scenarios. And so many interesting ideas. And actually, I think the numbers should be larger than 100. And but here we compared all the possible scenarios, and so we also do the initial analysis. We find that the first initial boom market will be in the smart manufacturing industry, and we also have done some tests, which I will introduce later. But we think still the smart manufacturing is number 1. And then about the grid industry, and also the warehouse logistics, and also some logic tracking for the vegetable circulation. And so these 4 scenarios right now we identified, which can be the first prioritized applications of passive IoT. And so passive IoT can play different roles in different scenarios, and it can also bring different values into different applications. For example, for the smart warehouse, passive IoT can improve the inventory period from monthly to hourly. And also in the production, manufacturing, and so the production efficiency, because we can have a transparent management for all the materials in the factory, it can just improve the efficiency. And also, recently we find that some finance companies are also very interested in this technique because in the chattel mortgage scenario, they want their assets to have a reliable supervision, and so every time they can make sure that their goods are still there. And also, there are many applications right now we are still exploring in the wide area, like the logistic tracking and end-to-end logistics, and also asset inventory. And we may have different assets, especially in the remote areas, whereby it's quite expensive to send someone there and to check and to do the inventory. So this also a very interesting scenario, and also a lot of things search. And so this is more close to the customer market. We can see that the passive IoT is quite a promising technology, and we can have, right now we still can have quite a lot of imaginations on the applications, but when we come to the technical part, we still right now facing two challenges. The first one is about the coverage, and so everyone uses the smartphone, and so the minimized signal threshold for the smartphone to receive signal is about minus 95 dBm. So this is minimized signal level for the smartphone, but you know that the smartphone is very powerful. It has powerful computing capabilities. So compared with the passive tech, it's just one in the sky and one on ground. But for passive IoT right now, as far as we know, the minimum signal level for the passive IoT to be activated is minus 24 dBm. So we can see that when we compare the passive tech between the smartphone, there is a 70 dB gap for the coverage. So it's still quite a challenge how to mitigate this gap, and whether we need to mitigate this gap. And so here right now we are doing some innovations on this, and we utilize high power base station modules, and because we know that in the traditional RFID technology, we utilize unlicensed spectrum, whereby the spectrum transmission power is limited. But with licensed spectrum, we can do more, and just to improve the power and to do many things. And also we can utilize the advantage of the air interface in the cellular networks, just like the coding and also different uplink and downlink coordination. And so these two solutions can help to mitigate the gap of coverage. And the second challenge is that the interference. And we know that for the passive tech, we need to consider that it needs to be very cheap. So with such a cheap tech, we cannot have the capability of a frequency conversion, a frequency transformation, and just like the FDD mode, right? We transmit and we receive in different bands, but that's not possible for this tech. And with the passive IoT space stations, you need to support the transmission and receiving simultaneously, and this is also a challenge. And right now we can do something like spatial isolation from between the TX and RX, and just to make them work well. And also we can utilize some intersite interference cancellation technologies to optimize and to improve the performance to combat the interference. And so following these solutions, we also have done some tests. And so according to our test, right now we can see in the indoor scenarios, if we have just a small site on the roof, and we can just make the coverage distance, which is around 100 meters. And this is a distance quite larger than the RFID technology, because we know that for RFID it's only 5 to 10 meters. And also we can deploy more base stations on the roof, and they can do the coordination. And so in the whole area, the information can be collected and to be shared according to different sites. So this is also another way, and we also tested that is with an area of 3,000 meters square, and we can do the continuous networking. And also, we can see that in a very crowded scenario, if we have a baggage and full of items, then how to identify this, all these tags in a very fast way. We also have the results. And also compared with the traditional RFID technology, normally we improved the accuracy of inventory, just like 99%, and because we know that for the RFID it's around 90% inventory successful rate. And so this is what we already have done in the technology part. And we also cooperated with some vertical industries partners. And so the first one is about a very successful example, we think. And we know that Haier is a very famous global company which do the many white housing appliances. And here we cooperated with their factories which manufacturing the washing machines. And so we know that for a washing machine, it normally consists of thousands of elements. And how to manage this element and how to deliver this element in a very timely way is very important. And for the factory, they think that they have some pain points. And the first one is that their product line stopped 10 times, normally 10 times every month. Why they stopped this line? Because the material is not arrived on the product line in time, so they need to wait. And so actually this is a waste of resources. And also they have some other pain points, like they need to utilize human manual ways just to do the inventory. And so we know that human beings make mistakes. So we need to still recheck. So this is quite also waste. And before we come to this company, they also try out the RFID way. They introduced very famous RFID product line from foreign countries, and but they invest quite a lot on this system. But finally, they find that this doesn't work very well, especially for the inventory successful rate. And so that's why we come to this factory. And so we have passive IoT attached on the containers of each material. And in this way, we can just get clearly what is the current status for the material alongside the product line. And then we can just wholly manage all this material supply system. And it's totally automatic and transparent. So here we do bring some benefits, like the delivery efficiency improves because we will not let the product line stop due to lack of materials. And also we just have the cost saving, and also the stock taking period can be updated in a very frequent way from monthly to daily level. So this is one example. And recently we still cooperated with another finance companies. And so basically we cannot imagine that even a finance company can still need this kind of technologies before. But when we talk to them, we find that it's very interesting, because some companies, they want to get loan from the bank. And so they need to apply for the mortgage loan. And but the bank need to make sure that you need to have something like the mortgage chattel, like the steel product. This is a steel company, because so they have the steel product. But the bank need to make sure that, okay, the steel are always there. Nobody comes to take it away or store it. But before, they may need someone to monitor and to take care and every day. And so we need to send someone always there to keep it. But right now, if we have this kind of a system, and we can see that in the video, a lot of steels, and we just put the tag by each steel, and we also install some base station on the roof. We can collect everything and to get to know whether the steels are still there. And so this is also a very interesting application scenarios. Okay, so this is our latest progress for the passive IoT technology, and also what I want to say that passive IoT technology is still right now a very promising technology. Every partners, I believe that even in the MWC tomorrow and day after tomorrow, everybody will still spend quite a long time on our passive IoT booth. And but right now we think that we still do quite a lot for this industry, for what is the potential business modes, and we want to actually ask help from the GTI platform and many other platforms to cooperate and accelerate the 3GPP standard, and also we want to accelerate the ecosystem for this industry. And so now I'm also very honored to be here to share this information to you. Thank you.